In a way that wasn't rhetorical. This movie could save your life. Finished watching the movie, you won't dare to eat junk food anymore. Whether the candy was brightly colored, or sweet chocolate and cream cake. There were even a lot of dishes. You think it's good with health. The sugar ratio is above the standard level. But the majority aren't aware. Absorbs too much sugar in the long run. How will it cause a great effect on the human body? Someone sacrificed their health to do a bold experiment. It will completely disrupt your perception. This guy's name was Damon Gamo. Came from Australia. The eating habits were very unhealthy. 80% of food in supermarkets contains sugar. On average, a family of 4 every week had to eat 6 kilograms of white sugar. They ate sugar like rice. But Damon was an exception. He had been persistent for 3 years. Stayed healthy. To clarify the effect of sugar on the human body. Also because of his child would be born. Growing up in a healthy environment. Damon wanted to do an experiment. 60 consecutive days. Every day, consume 200 grams, about 40 teaspoons of sugar. This was also the average amount of sugar Europeans ate each day. Note. During the experiment he maintained a daily amount of exercise. Didn't drink soft drinks. Didn't eat chocolate, sugar or ice cream. He ate all the healthy food in the supermarket. Morning of the first day. Damon only mixed a small cup of cereal. With a few teaspoons of yogurt, 400 milliliters of fruit juice. This seemed to be a very healthy breakfast. But in the reality.
This combined, I'm looking at nearly 20 teaspoons.
Right. Not in sweet food contained a large amount of sugar. In contrast, low-fat foods appeared to be healthy. For a better taste. The producer added more sugar. To show off visually the sugar content of these healthy foods. He decisively sprinkled equivalent white sugar on the food. Also mixed white sugar with drinking water. Finally he ate the whole white sugar.
Now I could have this amount of frozen yogurt for 11.
He persisted for 12 days. Scary things had happened. Less than 2 weeks. Damon's weight increased by 3.2 kilograms. His belly was markedly round.
Having a baby!
When the experiment was coming to an end, Damon increased 8.5 kilogram fat percentage also increased by 7%. On his belly was all fat. The expert told Damon, the added sugars in foods were purified sugars, but the liver's ability to break down sugar was limited. So it could only be released into the bloodstream. Once in our bodies enough energy has been stored, this sugar will convert into fat. More and more frightening. When blood sugar went up, would lead to high insulin levels, causes body fat to stop being burned. It was a case, if we can't lose weight forever, a big reason. You accidentally ate too much sugar. This was just a side effect of sugar eating habits. During the experiment, Damon became interested in sleeping. Sluggish whole body, abnormal mood. The skin condition was also very poor. From research, when a person maintained the habit of eating foods high in sugar, then his eyes would have dark circles. Skin had all sorts of problems. This had to do with the liver storing too much fat. The doctor also said he tends to have fatty liver. Henceforth, would disturb the metabolism. Also led to type 2 diabetes. Also increased the probability of heart disease. Damon was shaken. Ate too much sugar. Harmful to such a body. But he didn't understand. Already so. Why people still couldn't help it. Frantically loaded the body with sugar. To find the answer, he decided to go to Mecca of sugar industry in the world. Top fat country.
Look out, America. Come sugar daddy.
Who knew Damon just came to America? Everything happened here. Threatened to dumbfound it. The boy looked full of cavities. You still dared extravagant. Drank soft drinks. This guy started drinking soft drinks from the age of 2. Now he was 18 years old. Every day to drank at least 10 cans. Drank until the tooth decay.
People look down upon me because of my teeth.
The boy intended to have all his teeth pulled, then implant dentures, but because he had serious gingivitis, the anesthetic wasn't working. The boy was in such pain that tears filled his face. No way. The doctor could only refuse treatment. This was the consequence of this. Frantically absorbed soft sugar. A person's life could be ruined. But most frightened people were. Before going, the guy still said that. After this he continued to drink soft drinks. Even his 3-year-old sister. Every day she had to use a bottle of milk. Drank some bottles of soda. You certainly didn't expect it. The usual soft drink we drank. After all, how much sugar? Just 1 cup of this fruity soft drink had 130 grams of white sugar. This was 3 times the amount of sugar needed for a day. A 1.25L bottle of soft drink contained 138 grams of white sugar. There was also the use of excessive caffeine to stay awake. But the most frightening was, because eating sugar was difficult to create a feeling of fullness, you would instinctively eat more food. If you are the use of eucytometers contains much sugar in time long, then the brain generated the conditional reflex. When you saw sweets, it would remind you to eat. The more you ate, the more you wanted to eat. Long time. If you weren't fat, whoever was fat. Sugar was the invisible drug. Easy to make people addicted. Made us feel right away. Made us dependent on it. More frightening was, not everyone had a chance to be exposed to drugs. These sugar-rich things could be found everywhere in our lives again. In the food industry, too much sugar, serious harm, for our body. But the top companies, producing this kind of food was very cunning. One side of them, put all kinds of confusing names, for sugar in the product. But blatantly, it was the same type. On the other hand, they used all kinds of ways. Dump all responsibility on the consumer. Criticizing consumers ate too much, so that caused many problem about health. But they were sneaky continuous. Added sugar to foods. Constantly increasing. Human feeling of wanting to eat sweets. This would get you. Born of an illusion. Good food must taste sweet. Anything just added sugar would also be delicious. For your taste got used to this taste. When you tried to eat vegetables, you would find it very bitter. Extremely difficult to swallow. Furthermore, Damon found out in surprise. In this time, ate foods high in sugar, heat intake in the body. Not that tall actually, because of the caloric content in sugar. Only half of fat, you charged less heat. On the contrary, it became fatter. More and more unhealthy. Heat conservation didn't say. After all, sinners made us fat. Who? A scam, fooled us for years. Gradually being exposed. This was a world scam. Had been hidden for more than 50 years. The main character was friend. Very familiar to us. Every day it hurt, to our body. But no one cared. The opposite was still non-stop. Excessive intake into the body. This sweet poison. Its name was sugar. Being the culprit made us fat. Industry made sugar because wanted. Trade benefits guarantee. Bought money to bribe scientific experts. Posted articles on reputable magazines. Got rid of doubts. With human way. Pushed the crime of causing fat. For fat. Also said the reason we got fat. Just because ate too much. You just need to control the amount of food. Even though, ate sugar instead of rice. Nor would any harm for body. But the truth. Was it really like that?
Many of the reviews that the final review is that there is no evidence that sugar is associated with metabolic disease of any kind are funded by the sugar industry.
The guy's name was Damon. Because wanted to expose the conspiracy. Went to see this expert. Damon said himself. In less than 2 months. Fat up 6 kilograms just because he started eating sugar. Also in terms. No increased in overall heat. Loaded into the body. What was this story in the end? Indeed. Experts began to blame. Extremely adept, he said. Completely because you ate too much. It didn't matter what. Ate more and you would get fat. Listen to the expert lie. Damon started, doubt of his motives.
Have you ever received any kind of funding from Coca-Cola?
So we've received investigator-initiated, unrestricted funding from Coca-Cola.
Then after 2 weeks, Damon saw this expert on the TV. He was convincing. Sugar didn't cause any illness. Damon was also now frightened out. Whatever the day, he also ate 160 grams of sugar. His body, it was also not exclusion. That gradually received. Eating habit, this unhealthy. Damon started to become emaciated. Both physically and mentally. You were torturing. My body was too much. 2 months passed. Finally Damon, also about to complete the experiment. Today, he ate his meal, contained much sugar in the end. Damon went to the hospital. His condition now was very bad. The doctor said, if he continued to eat sugar, definitely would be diabetic. In terms of weight, he was fat. 8 kilogram waist circumference increased to 10 centimeters. The abdomen was also rounded, like an air pump. But the most important was, during this time period, total heat you loaded in, almost the same as before. The only difference was, he used sugar, fat replacement. Same heat, just because the source of the food was different, which led to one person got fat quickly. Also mean, it didn't matter how much you ate. The important was, what do you eat? After finishing the experiment, Damon started to stop the road. This progress, suffering was like quitting smoking. He started to get angry without reason. Insomnia, headache. The whole person had no spirit. Always, looking forward to eating sugar. But after 2 months, his mental state, good start. Weight decreased to normal levels. The numbers of the body, also normal again. His body was well again. The name of this documentary, very straightforward. It's called That Sugar Film. Damon wasn't just that. The main actor of the movie. He was also a director. He used body experiments, not just proving the dangers of sugar to health, but also demonstrated we absolutely could. Got rid of the temptation of sugary foods, regained a healthy body.
Sugar's not evil, but life is so much better.
But the problem was, you have control, like Damon not. If not, multiply it, you still not addicted to sugar yet. Let's quit.